Welcome to Geeks Corner. I'm Mr. Daps.
I'm Katie.
If a story has a calamitous happy ending, it is known as a eucatastrophe.
Really?
Yeah, no, great word.
That's a good word.
Eucatastrophe.
Huh.
So it's like a ukulele catastrophe.
Yeah, I think it's a portmanteau of euphoria and catastrophe. I think is how they get that.
I like that.
That's fun.
Eucatastrophe.
It's a good word.
And I'm Cameron.
Eucatastrophe.
Eucatastrophe.
Don't use that hashtag.
Don't know.
But you know what isn't a catastrophe? Using the hashtag Geeks Corner on Twitter to talk at us about ideas for our Christmas show next week that we totally have fully planned.
Yeah.
And also the things we talk about tonight.
In fact, let us know what you would like to see on the Christmas show and what you would not like to see on the Christmas show.
We'd like to see Cameron getting $10.
We should really start
and they don't want to see Katie.
two Twitter threads.
What don't you want to see?
One's the things that you do want to see, and then what's the one where it's like put the wrong answer only or whatever.
Oh.
Wrong answers only.
Yeah, wrong answers only. Katie.
Do a wrong answer only and then a right answer.
You know
only.
if Geeks Corner had in the several of budget.
Wait, we have a budget?
I know exactly.
Wait, what?
Yeah, that's it.
I'm
Yeah.
doing this for free.
If we were limitless, like the show
Like
Limitless.
the show.
Then yes,
I thought that was a
Absolutely.
movie.
I do think
yes,
it's
but yeah,
Limitless,
Yeah.
2012.
it's amazing what you can do with sheer willpower,
I
right?
don't know what year that
sheer
movie came
willpower.
out.
Meaning
Sheer
it's pulled
willpower.
very thin.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is.
I was
All right, well, let's talk about what's going on. Is
I
that
was gonna
good?
tweet
What's
from
going
the depths
on?
of
All
my
right,
What's going
we are tweeting
on?
live from the front row
What's going
because
on? What's going on?
we're kind of it's quiet here tonight, which is pretty common right before Christmas.
Yeah.
And next week it will not be quiet at 9:30 because I guarantee it's funny how everybody has to be at the Christmas episode, mainly because they never know what crazy and dumb things we're gonna do. And so while we don't have a lot of audience members tonight, all the chairs will be gone next week.
Yeah,
Every year, it's amazing. They come out of the woodwork.
and it's going to be good. I went full out in
good
brown. I have literally been prepping for months
months.
I
for
know.
this episode.
Months.
This is the most prepped for episode we've ever done, I think.
Yeah.
Legitimately. Like, we've been talking about this forever. Anyway, this last weekend, this was actually probably prepped for months as well. Candlelight ceremony was at the Disneyland Resort, and Lin-Manuel Miranda was the celebrity narrator who, we mentioned this in the pre-show, but we should mention it again, had probably the best introduction by Bill Rogers ever.
Closed out, right? Because that was at the end of the ceremony.
Yeah, but
Still an introduction.
it was announcement.
Outroduction.
Outroduction.
Yes.
You catastrophe.
Yep. Same energy.
So you do it best,
Spit
Katie.
take, spit
Go
take,
for it.
spit take, spit take, spit take. Sorry, I saw an opportunity.
Do you remember when we did Scare Cam with Tyler?
Yes.
That was fun.
That's a good video.
That's a great. We should find that video.
It gets very ominous at the end when he's like, "Duh," but it's still a good video.
Yeah.
We almost recorded a crime here at DAPS Magic.
Luckily, he saw the camera.
Dun.
Dun, dun. Also, a side note, my parents were watching a ton of Law and Order before I came here, and they actually went to switch programs to something else. And I said, "But how am I gonna know how the train crash happened?" My dad was like, from not looking up his computer, it was an explosion. Someone planted a bomb. And I was like, "Have you seen this before?" And he's like, "Yup."
Was this pre or post Ice-T? Because Ice-T is the
feel
best
like-
part.
It's pre.
I feel like it's a lot like Columbo, though, where
It is,
you
it's-
kind of know.
It's the same episode every
Well,
time.
And then the episode before that, he was saying, no, this guy can't confess yet. We're only 14 minutes in. This is not how the
exactly
timeline of a
right.
Law and Order episode works. There's something else coming.
Not to mention, they mentioned a famous person earlier that was cleared very quickly. So
Yes. So
Yeah.
Sunday
So
and Saturday.
Lin-Manuel
was the murderer.
Miranda. That was how Bill Rogers said
That
it.
was how he said it, and then everybody screamed it.
And then
That's
everyone went,
great.
Little
How
Miranda!
did you
Yeah,
get?
Hamlet.
So we've seen quite a few
Yeah, Hamlet.
different narrators through the years, and how did he stand up with everybody else?
I really, really liked it. He also spoke very quickly,
He did speak
But
very quickly.
that's him.
which is because that's just how
Because
he talks.
Hamilton.
Yeah, because he's a musical and he's very musically talented and he speaks very quickly and raps very quickly. Everyone kind of was laughing about like, oh, is he gonna rap the story of Christmas? He almost would have if you had put a beat behind it. He was speaking quickly enough. It was really good though. He just puts a lot of life into everything he speaks anyway.
And when he's not speaking, there's lots of life as well.
Yeah.
Like, he's a very expression filled.
Well, he
person.
comes from the Broadway. Like,
Yeah.
he is used to having every eye on him and being hyper aware of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even
It was-
when he's not necessarily the focus.
So, he was a great narrator.
He was.
My question is, who would you really like to see? Like, who would be the number one narrator you would like to see?
This was kind of.
Well, I think my easy number one has already done it. So,
Hemsworth?
no, James Earl Jones.
Yeah, he
That's
did.
fair.
That's
In fact, I was talking to a cellist that we both know, and it was his first year, I think he said, that he was in the orchestra, that James Earl Jones was the narrator, which is very cool.
I believe my brothers, when they were younger, actually saw Candlelight with James Earl Jones.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So that's
but
the one.
Who? Let me think.
So how about the rule is somebody that hasn't done
Has
it
not done
before.
it.
So you can't say Dick Van Dyke again. You can't say,
Yeah.
whoever.
Alive or Dead?
Ooh,
Alive.
alive.
It
It's like-
does narrow it.
This was hard because this was kind of mine in a way. Because this has kind of been. It's always been. Like, I didn't even bring it up last week. So I was like, I thought last year was the year it was going to happen. I was like, it wouldn't happen this year. But man, it happened. I'm trying to think of another person. I'm also speaking to fill space to also give Cameron more time to think.
Well, I have one, but I don't know if it's my beat all end all. Let me think.
I don't have.
William Shatner.
No, we'd be there all night.
It would be the opposite of Lin-Manuel.
And it came to pass.
A child.
We could just have Leonard Nimoy and be like, "No, I got past like Nehemiah and stuff. There's no books here. Is there something that's supposed to be here happening?" Hey.
I don't know. I don't really have a ton of favorite celebrities necessarily.
Do you have an answer? Yeah. Go ahead.
Yes,
Morgan Freeman.
LeVar Burton.
LeVar
Oh.
Burton.
LeVar Burton
Cool.
would be the best.
That'd be
And
pretty
that
damn
makes
cool.
me want Patrick Stewart.
Patrick Stewart would be good too.
Patrick Stewart would be
That'd be okay.
really good.
I think LeVar Burton between the two would be better, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because Sir Patrick Stewart would Shakespeare it. And
That's why I picked
yeah,
it.
I know, and that would be good. But LeVar Burton would experience it. Because reading Rainbow
Yeah.
Track and also his podcast that he does
He'd be
now,
very good.
which is Reading Rainbow for Adults, basically, it's fantastic, and he's very, very immersive in his storytelling.
I like
Also,
it.
he was in line to be a pastor before he went into acting. So
There you go.
yeah.
So it'd be
Fun fact.
multiple good reasons. All right. Have you thought of somebody yet?
No, I
Benedict
don't.
Cumberbatch.
No,
No.
I don't.
Martin
I
Sheen.
don't necessarily.
Martin
He
Sheen
couldn't-
would be good.
I don't love Ben.
Yeah, but they can-
Cumberbooth.
But he's probably the same height as Lin-Manuel, isn't he?
No, Sheen's shorter.
Oh, really?
I think so.
How tall is...
5'9", 5'10"? No, 5'9". Lynn? Depends if he has his hair.
Yeah,
So he's...
if he has a ponytail.
He's an inch taller, or 2 inches taller.
Yeah.
I'm sure they can make it work.
Kermit the Frog.
No.
All the Muppets.
I agree, actually.
Animal.
I mean, I would... that may not work. All right, did you think
Has
of one
Tom Hanks
for real?
done it?
Has who?
Tom Hanks.
That would be perfect.
That would be really
That's
good.
actually my new choice.
Yeah, that'd
That's
be
the
really
one.
good.
Tom Hanks would be amazing.
Tom Hanks would be really good at it.
Yeah.
So you would be like, hey, Walt Disney, go ahead and tell us a story of Christmas, Fred Rogers.
He needs to do, and Jeff actually just said Tom Hanks.
Mr. T. Hanks.
Yeah, that would be really good.
Do you know his son has a handkerchief company called Hank's Kerchiefs?
Really?
That is true.
Is that serious?
That is true.
Do they come with bow ties? Because that would be perfect.
That would-
I don't think they come with bow ties.
Well, you can match the two, and then you've got the good pocket square thing going on. But all right,
That was a tangent.
you know who I work with.
Us. He works
Yeah,
with
yeah.
us.
Exactly. Is this working?
We're distracting people.
Sometimes.
Did you want Tom Hanks or?
Yeah.
Okay, is that our
LeVar
universal
Burton was
choice?
my final choice.
Okay.
Final
I
answer.
will probably wake up in a cold sweat at 2:15 roughly tomorrow morning, and I will have some random answer.
You're just gonna be like, oh, Michelle Obama.
I would love Michelle Obama.
See?
She'd be good.
Should be great.
Justice Ginsburg.
I don't think they do politicians, though.
Nope.
All right, so moving over to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, there were new droids that appeared this week in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, helping distribute beverages to the locals and outsiders, off-worlders. What do they call them?
Off-worlders.
Off-worlders. And,
Travelers.
and they are super cool. Like, I don't know what exactly they do,
Nothing.
but they're awesome.
Baby droids.
Well, I saw one with a porg on its head, too, and that was amazing.
Baby droidin. But I feel like they would just shake it off.
It was babysitting it.
Do you think droids like Taylor Swift?
No. But that's irresponsible porg handling, is to let a droid babysit it. I mean, good.
Okay. It seemed okay to me.
Good. Be irresponsible with your porgs. But
Anyway, there's are there 5 of them? Is that what we? I think
yes,
that's what we heard, and
we counted them.
I think we're also told that. But there's 3 Coke droids.
Mm-hmm.
There's a Sprite droid and a Diet Coke droid. From if I counted correctly, yeah. And I know, go ahead, Cameron.
I just think it's a clear indication that they're about to buy out the DC Comics universe, and I'll tell you why.
I'm intrigued.
Because droids, unlike Apple products, can run Flash.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Wow.
Anyway.
That was good. That was good.
Thank you. Thank you.
I love the Diet Coke droid the best. It's very cute.
I agree with you because it looks the least branded of all of them.
Yes.
And I do love how they seem to be interacting with the people that are around them and each other. And I don't know how in-depth their programming actually is, but it seems like they can track movement, perhaps. Bless you.
Thank you.
And
they can track our movements.
I would love to see more
literally.
of this kind of stuff coming to the parks, though, because I think it just adds... Like, they're literally sitting on a cart as people sell sodas, and it adds so much life to Galaxy's Edge.
I like directionality of this, of like in-park feeding into fiction, rather than just the other way and replicating it. And this was a little bit on the border, but we do see a cart droid in Mandalorian in this style, which I guess did predate it a little
totally
bit.
Connects.
Which is very much, I think, the intention. Similarly, we saw a lot of these like box crate things in Batuu that looked like companion cubes from Portal that are now in the Mandalorian. I like when there is
some crossover,
something that exists in the parks that you then see later in the show rather than the other direction.
Yeah.
One, because I think it lends to the creativity, and two, it means that they're thinking ahead about such things. And
supposedly we're going to see more of this stuff. Yes. I think that's great. I would love to still see like Jake the droid going around, and it seemed like in the imaginary story they might have teased that he will be going around soon, and whatever soon is, though. I mean, that could be years or not, whatever. But I do think the more life you bring to the outposts, the more people are just gonna, like, there's tons of people taking pictures of them and just kind of watching them. I understand some people are getting a little bit too much with one of them, but
yeah, did see that.
But I mean, that's part of the process, unfortunately, is figuring this out, and how do you protect them, or how do you make them stronger, or whatever it is.
You give them that flamethrower R2 head.
But
that's how you do it.
I will also say, on a slightly side note about life in Galaxy's Edge, we just went to Oga's Cantina for the first time, and that to me also is a whole new excitement, a whole new life of Galaxy's Edge that we had not seen for the last 6 months, and it feels very, very Star Wars. So we also went the same day that Soda Droids came out, and I was like, whoa, Galaxy's Edge feels like a whole new land to me. My biggest thing about Oga's was sharing the table with other people, because that felt very like Star Wars-y and cramped cantina. And anyway, I just wanted to talk about that really quickly. I know I'm very, very behind, but reservations are really hard to get, guys.
So there is a backstory for these. Can I read this?
Yeah.
These droids, and it says Jat Ka was a Lurman male from the planet Mygeeto. Sometime during the war between the First Order and the Resistance, Ka imported the beverages Coca-Cola, Diet Coke, Sprite, and Dasani to the Outer Rim world Batuu, where workers for his company. Jat Ka's coolers sold them to travelers and locals at various locations throughout Black Spire Outpost.
That's fun.
You know what this reminds me of?
What does
And
it remind you?
they did it better here. But Mr. Pibb released a video game for like Windows 95, where I had to boot my computer cold to run it because it couldn't run otherwise. And
Nice.
your main superpower was soda-powered burps to take out other people in your school, I think was the idea. And this has the same energy in the
Yeah.
backstory. Now, there is a droid on the other end of that, which makes the payoff worthwhile.
Yes.
But brand placement is difficult.
I just love.
I think they did a good job with
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think they did the best they could have done.
I think between the thermal detonator sodas and these are a huge step forward in the way that they're presenting them from what was before, which wasn't bad. But having them in these carts with the droids just makes it feel like you're not. There's no jarring like, oh gosh, Coke. It's just like, oh,
Yeah.
Coke droid. Like,
But I wanted a Dasani BB unit. That's just the fact.
is that R2D2? Blue and white.
But he's not a BB unit. He's an R2 unit.
Yeah, and I'm glad they're using these rather than packing them in salt and moving them around. Because then they'd be using crate.
I knew that was going
Yeah.
somewhere to crate
Yep.
somehow. I was like, okay.
Still, the
all
best
right.
acting in all the films, by the way, is the guy that goes, salt. It's like, what?
Well, but he does it, and then he's like, "Psst, salt.
You don't spit. No, you're great. You're like, save it. Do you know how
All right,
expensive
we
salt
gotta move
is?
forward because we spent way too much time on this. Star Wars:
Sorry.
Rise of the Resistance opened a week ago in Florida.
A week ago.
With that came new droids. Or
New
not
droids.
Not new droids.
New drones.
New drones. Droids and drones are too
Droid
similar.
drones.
Cameron's gonna stand behind me now, and we're gonna invite Luke in.
Luke.
Because he has gone where none of us have gone before, and that is on a ride with the Resistance. How was that for an intro, Luke? Aren't you proud of that?
That's pretty good.
Luke.
And so with this opening, it takes you on this experience that we're not going to give any spoilers for.
Because I'm still covering my ears. and
If
spit.
Luke spoils, Cameron is going to start pulling on his ears.
Mhm.
I don't know. That's what just came into my head. But so we're going to ask very general questions, and if you have questions for Luke, you can do them in the in Twitter with hashtag Geeks Corner. I will try to keep up with them. So basically, the general overview of what this attraction is about is you are being recruited into the Resistance, and you can tell me if I'm wrong here because I'm going off press materials. You're recruited into the Resistance, you're gonna meet General Organa, and you're going off to do this thing. And something goes horribly wrong, as always does on every good Disney, well, not every good, but many good Disney attractions. So, first question, on a scale of 1 to 10, where would you rate this?
Oh, I mean, it is 10, just
10.
above anything I've ever done. You guys aren't going to be like Sheldon. It's like, oh, it's a 10, now it's spoiled. Now I know it's
No.
Spoiler!
You're good. So, comparing to other immersive attractions, say maybe like Indiana Jones Adventure or Radiator Springs Racers, they're kind of more of the really in-depth. I guess Splash Mountain to an extent as well. Is this above, below, or at the same level of immersiveness as those kind of attractions, and or better?
I wouldn't even put this on the same playing field.
Different ballpark, huh?
Yeah, all the ones that you mentioned previously, those are really immersive rides. This one was just an immersive experience.
Very cool and frightening. So for those people with families, younglings up to oldlings, whatever they're called, is this a family-centric attraction, or is this something that might be a little too intense for the little ones?
I can definitely see some aspects of it being a little bit more intense, and there is a height limit or height restriction of 40.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's 40, isn't it? Yeah,
Yeah,
which
so,
isn't too bad.
Yeah, I believe Racers is also 40 or 42.
So intensity level, would you say it's kind of a racer's level intensity, without like giving away too much, but is it like something for people with younger kids? Like, is it something that they're gonna feel too much or see too much for intensity?
Based on that, I would say it's a lot like going back to like racers. If your young ones can't really handle the racing part of racers, it could probably get a little intense. And if they are prone to being scared by some scary things, then this could also pose some difficulties.
I kind of feel like this is going to be like when I was a kid, and Cameron might actually agree with this too. You probably as well. You didn't grow up with Star Wars. So...
Everyone but Katie.
Well, you didn't grow up with Star Wars, so... But, like, did you ever have the thought of, like, if you were actually to meet Darth Vader when you were, like, 6, maybe younger, and just how terrifying that would be? Or the Emperor?
The height difference.
Yeah. Like, it seemed terrifying.
I feel like the Emperor would be like, here's a Werther's original candy. You'd be like,
Yeah.
It's accurate. It's very accurate.
Yeah. Repeatability.
Oh, definitely. And I can't really say this about really any of the rides in our parks here, but even just the standby line alone, I would wait an hour or two in that line, just to look at things, because, like I said, the whole thing is just an experience, and you can go on it over and over and over again. And unlike other rides where Disney kind of tries to point you to a scene so that you don't, look behind and see the magic being ruined, this one is really a 360 experience. So you're going to go on, you're going to look at some scenes, and if you go on again, you turn around or look in a corner, it's like, I didn't see that before, when did that get there? And really, just there are some parts where no matter how many times you ride on it, it's still going to be impressive.
So my final question on this one is connectability, or connectivity, I guess, with movies, books. I don't know if you've read the books or not, but are there lots of connections or story connections that you were picking, or Easter eggs even, that you were picking up from different movies, or even The Mandalorian or something? I don't know. I don't expect there to be The Mandalorian, but it just popped in my head.
So I didn't really see too many things that really connect the stories. I believe this happens before Rise of Skywalker. So it really seems like it's your story. That's what they're doing. They're making it so it's yours, so that you can't say, so that happened. So this doesn't relate to me.
Yeah, it kind of moves it out of the timeline in some ways, and by putting it in that fixed time, that fixed period of time, I guess, then you don't have to worry about some of that stuff. I will be curious to see what Easter eggs pop up over time as people go on it over and over again, and they're like, hey, right over there is the droid that was in the, or I don't know. There's always, I feel like Disney does a really good job of hiding those things. I guess my real last question for this is what is the longest you would wait for this attraction?
Oh, I mean, even opening day, I mean, obviously a lot of people are going to want to wait. We'll see if they...
But currently, but if you had to, let's say they did the Star Tours, Indiana Jones, like the traditional way, not the virtual queue way.
Okay.
Like, how much of a wait is it worth? Like, if you had to wait 4 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours, or 12 hours?
I would 5-6 hours. Like I said, there are certain points in this queue that they understand that it's going to be a long wait, and they took that into consideration whenever they made this queue. And honestly, it's just worth waiting in there. And I believe they also are going to be introducing with the Play app, all the data pad.
Jobs.
There's going to be jobs, and it looked like there were things to scan in this in the queue as well.
This could be so cool. That's. I'm not gonna ask you more because I don't want to give away anything else.
Yes.
So thank you, Luke. We appreciate it. Anybody else have questions for him, real quick?
No, can I be done being awkward?
Yeah, you can have your seat back.
Cool.
Yes. Thank you, Luke.
Thanks, Luke.
And on January 17th, we will get to find out what it's like on our coast as well. Thank you.
Why did we put the back studio so far away?
I don't know.
Hopefully he doesn't get lost back there. All right. So opening night, they also had drones that were X-Wings.
Look, sir, drones.
Yeah. What'd you think of them? Very briefly.
I love them.
I thought that the timing getting them up was a little awkward, but once they were there, it was just one of those things. Like there was the time right before they rose, and then the time when they actually rose. And my thought process up to that was like, okay, I know what you're doing. Okay, they're coming. Okay, they're gonna take a second. As soon as they're up, I was like, they're real. They're real.
They did a nice job.
Yeah.
And I agree with. I actually, you did have to wonder if there was a communication breakdown a little bit of some sort, because it seemed like there was a couple of awkward pauses through it, and it really, like, it was a fun way they did it, like setting it up is going like the story or whatever, and
I loved the actors they had on the ground.
yeah,
leading up.
that's kind of what I was saying.
Yeah, because they were fantastic, but also they were definitely like super theater trained because they held that tableau so good.
It was well done. And then, as we alluded to with Luke, they utilized the virtual queue,
Yes.
which you have to get there really early just to get into the virtual queue, it looks like. I love this, though. And in the last Imagineering story, it was that one, right?
Yes.
They flat out say they've been trying to figure out ways to do the virtual queue, which is a new way of approaching theme park.
Well, because they've talked about how queues are a very effective way to like hide guests.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean,
They talked about sardines in the Imagineering episode. Yeah.
and for years we've always called them people eaters. Like it's like, oh well, you can get rid of a ton of people over here. I mean, that's why I liked people waiting for Fantasmic for years. It's because you'd have thousands of people sitting along the rivers of America, and you can go on attractions a whole lot quicker because they're either waiting for fireworks, Fantasmic, or the evening parade, and that was just beautiful. I missed that. But what do you guys think about the virtual queue?
I think it's great. I keep reiterating how nervous I am on our coast. I think it's also interesting how it works differently than FastPass Plus. You do have to be on property, like at Disney's Hollywood Studios,
Which
in
is
order
good.
to get, which I think is wonderful. It favors the people that are actually there. They've been opening the virtual queue at like 4 a.m. Park opens at 9 a.m. So there are people waiting outside the gates and getting in the virtual queue that way. But I think that's good. And then they go to Epcot or what have you, and then come back for their time.
Well, and I think they've made it now so you have to actually tab into the to the park to get your virtual queue.
Yeah.
You're getting there early, but it's you do have to activate your
Which is good.
your ticket for the
Also
day.
good.
Okay, for final thing tonight, Ghostbusters Afterlife had its first trailer come out this week, and we've all watched it at least once or twice. And
Or 3
what
times.
did you think of it first off?
Hype.
Cameron, what did you think of it?
I feel like you're doing like buzzwords for like fashion.
Yeah, I was like,
Original. Forward.
This trailer
okay,
has
but
everything.
Back to the trailer.
Ghosts.
Yes.
Thank you. I think you got what I was doing there. I don't think you did.
This summer's hottest club is Ghostbusters.
Afterlife.
So that was really terrifying. So we watched it in the togetherness, which is the worst way of saying that sentence, and I like the tone it's striking because I felt like there were two ways that they could have gone wrong with it, which was over the top humorous and like the dark gritty reboot that only works for Batman once when Chris Nolan's directing it.
Yeah.
And I think they struck a really nice balance in the trailer of levity, but also like it's very clearly going to be an intense like experience. Like Paul Rudd's natural energy he brings to anything, I think makes him the right casting to balance that.
Absolutely.
Also the moment with Boy Stranger Things that when they were, remember that summer we hit under the table? That was really good. Like,
Yeah.
that was really, because it's happening like that's my humor. That's right there. Nailed that. And
art.
I like that we have certainly seen a lot of fan service, but we haven't seen a lot of actioned fan service, which means that there's a lot of content we haven't seen yet, which is great.
Well, I think we don't even know what the tonality of the movie's going to be yet, because for all we know, they took one approach on this trailer, and the next trailer is a completely different feel. Or
Agreed.
There should be Oscars for trailers.
yeah,
There should be.
I think that would be fantastic. I am loving all of the connections they have to not just the original movie, but the things that made the original movie. So like the backstory behind the original movie and I think they're doing a really smart job with that, and I can't wait to see how much of that is flushed out, because I think there's so many different ways this movie could have gone, and the fact that they took it out of everywhere you expected it to go and threw it in the middle of nowhere with kids instead of adults, with an old broken down farmhouse instead of an old firehouse. Like there's lots of things that they could have done that would have been probably fine with the fans and they would have been very happy with it, but instead they decided to take some creative risks and stay true to what made the original kind of fun. Like, I mean, really, the original is fun because they created a whole backstory and lore about ghosts that based in some myth and some in their own imagination, and then put their own personality on it. And I think they're doing the same thing this time, and I'll be curious to see how far they go with that, and hopefully I hope it's as good as we think it's going to be after one trailer. Any other thoughts?
Yeah, Statue of Liberty should totally show back up.
Yeah.
It might. You never know. That's what's walking through the comes to life. All right. Anything else for this night? I think that's it, huh?
Should go to
That was
thegeekscorner.com.
loud tonight.
It was. Thegeekscorner.com is the website. You're probably on watching this, but if you're not, say you're on the YouTube or linked on the Twitter or something of the sort, go to thegeekscorner.com. It's our website where they all live and play together in harmony.
They can watch our other Christmas episodes.
And our other Christmas episodes.
Yeah.
You should go to dapsmagic.com, check out all the Disney and geek news as it happens, subscribe to our mailing list so you don't miss anything, and find our Patreon.
And make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel so you don't miss any of our future videos. There's a lot of them coming up. In particular, I think you're going to have fun watching this week's vlog because it's Roger and I in the rain for like 5 hours. There's not a lot to do in the rain. It was fun. Anyway, that's all we've got for you this week. We hope you're having a fantastic one. We will see you around the corner.
Bye.